And welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Bramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app on Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. The Kano state government has uncovered irregularities in the payroll system of local government councils, as no fewer than 247 staff members were discovered to have either retired from service or died. This revelation is contained in the statement by the Press Secretary, Office of the Secretary to the State Government, Musa Mohammed. The discovery revealed that names of the affected local government staff have been appearing in the payroll and their salaries are running. The Kano State Chairman of the New Nigerian People's Party, Senator Masood El Jibril Dagowa, who led the faction known as the Basket and Full of Fruits, has said the party is planning to convene an emergency meeting following the recent defection of prominent members in the state. Dagowa stated that the defection did not come as a surprise, blaming the Kwankwasia group for punishing members away from the party. He attributed the defection to what he described as maltreatment and inequality within the party, alleging orchestrated by leaders of the Kwankwasia group. According to him, his frustration led to the departure of many members. The National Economic Council, NEC, has approved the establishment of a National Cotton and Textile Board to coordinate the planned resuscitation of the cotton and textile industry in Nigeria. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma said this while briefing journalists at the meeting presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Uyi Agbomofuegbe has the report.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma said the move is aimed at boosting the economic reforms program of the current administration. Uzodinma noted that after interfacing with representatives of the cotton and textile sector, the council was satisfied with their recommendations and endorsed the establishment of a board and 6 regional officers that will coordinate the activities of the sector, leading to the renewal of the hitherto moribund cotton and textile industries.
Council considered that to make it more functional, that their proposal for a public-private partnership where government will partner with the private sector to put this sector back to order, and that whoever that will be the chairman will come from the private sector, and the body should be funded from the textile import levy currently being collected by Nigerian Customs. So Council endorsed the presentation and approved the establishment of a national office and regional offices in each of the 6 geopolitical zones.
Nigeria's Economic Council, NEC, also approved the establishment of the Green Imperative Project's GIP National Office in Abuja and regional offices across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abba Kyari, who disclosed this, said GIP will help in addressing the crisis fueled by the current system of animal husbandry in the country.
Considered the following prayers to acknowledge the GIP setting of regional offices across the 6 geopolitical zones, and also to endorse the regional offices of the Green Imperative across those states, and the states are also encouraged to participate, because what this seeks to do is to catalyze. The $1.1 billion is to draw up core investments, private sector driven, from all other investment promotions.
Meanwhile, the National Economic Council deferred discussions on the proposed establishment of state police due to time constraints during its extended meeting at the council chambers. Bayelsa State Governor Doyo Diri confirmed that the matter was on the agenda but could not be discussed due to the limited time available.
State police was part of our agenda today, but unfortunately, because of time demands, and after a very long, we have been there for a very long time now, the presentations were unable to get to that bit of it. So I can assure you that in our next meeting, that issue will be exhaustively discussed. Thank you.
Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State addressed lingering concerns surrounding the National Livestock Transformation Plan, NLTP, a key initiative aimed at curbing farmer herder conflicts through modern ranching systems.
Has already identified all the various technical schools owned by the federal government, and they have worked on equipping the schools, and they are working now on ensuring that there are enough technical teachers in order for the program to be successful. So the minister was asking council and all the members of council, especially the state governors, to also participate in this new initiative so that now we will continue to reduce unemployment.
The council, which held a minute of silence to honor victims of recent violent attacks in Plateau and Benue states, emphasized the growing urgency of addressing the state police initiative amid escalating security concerns nationwide. Uyi Admofwebe, reporting for Global Television News.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has said no amount of blackmail will bring peace to Rivers State. For peace to reign in the state, Wike said all critical stakeholders, including members of the National Assembly, must be involved with sincerity of purpose. He stated that the declaration of emergency rule averted calamity that would have occurred in the state. The Apetu of Ipetumodu in Osun State, Oba Joseph Oluyede, and the Nigerian pastor Edward Oluwasami are facing possible prison sentences in the United States after pleading guilty to charges of COVID-19 relief fraud. Oba Oluyede, a U.S.-based accountant and information system expert, was appointed the new Apetu in July 2019. The monarch and Olawasami were re-elected in early 2024 for their roles in a scheme to fraudulently obtain $4.2 million in COVID-19 relief funds. The two men were charged with 13 counts of conspiracy to commit wired fraud, conspiracy to defraud, money laundering, and engaging in monetary transactions in criminally derived property. A civil society group under the aegis of the Center for Human Rights and Accountability Network has advocated for the establishment of state police, saying that present security architecture appears under to cope with rising waves of crime and criminality in the country. The director of the network in Akwa Ibom State, Otukong Isang, argued that the introduction of state police into the policing structure of the country would address key security lapses, tackle crime, and crime prevention in Nigeria. Lagos State House of Assembly has summoned the chairman of the State Independent Electoral Commission, LASEC, Justice Bola Akikiolu Igele, and the commissioner of the commissions to appear before it to provide detailed explanations regarding their plans and preparations for the forthcoming local council election scheduled for July. During a plenary session, concerns were raised by lawmakers regarding the precise and perceived rush of the Commission's processes and the inadequacy of the released electoral guidelines. Chairman, House Committee on Judiciary Petitions, Human Rights, and LASEC, Oladipo Ojemolo, expressed strong reservations, stating that the Commission is rushing through the process with incomplete guidelines. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has raised the alarm over the regrouping of Boko Haram insurgents in the Tunbos area of Lake Chad and the Mandara Hills within the Sambisa forest in the state. The governor disclosed this in Maiduguri when the Minister of Defense, Baduru Abubakar, Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and the other top military commanders paid him a visit. Zulum lamented on the setback in military operations in the state, saying Boko Haram terrorists were freely breeding in Tumbos water area in the Lake Chad without much effort by the military to dislodge them. The FBI has arrested 22 Nigerians allegedly involved in a financial motivated sextortion scheme that has been blamed for more than 20 teen suicide in the United States since 2021. The agency announced in a statement of its website. In the report published, the arrests were part of a first-of-its-kind global operation, Condemned Artemis, conducted in collaboration with law enforcement agencies in Canada, Australia, Nigeria, and the United Kingdom. The FBI launched Operation Artemis nearly 2 years ago after receiving thousands of reports of teen boys being coerced into sharing sexually explicit photos online and then extorted with threats of exposure unless they pay. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Tribunal uphold FCCPC's $220 fine against Meta and WhatsApp. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now in business. The Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal has delivered its judgment in the appeal filed by Meta Platform Incorporated, that is Facebook and WhatsApp LLC, against the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, that is FCCPC, affirming the Commission's authority and action in nearly all the contested issues. In a statement signed by the Director of Corporate Affairs, Ondaje Ijagu, reveals that the tribunal specifically determined that the Commission comply with prevailing laws, discharge its mandate, and exercise its power within the confines of the 1999 Constitution. It ruled that the multiple action by WhatsApp and Meta, for which the Commission made findings of violation, were correctly identified, and that the Commission did not err in making those findings. The President and Chief Executive of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has expressed gratitude over his appointment to the World Bank's Private Sector Investment Lab, a body tasked with boosting investment and job creation in emerging economies. The World Bank announced Dangote's appointment as part of a broader expansion of its Private Sector Investment Lab, which now enters a new phase aimed at scaling up solutions to attract private capital and create jobs in the developing world. In a statement confirming his acceptance, Dangote reaffirmed his commitment to fostering sustainable economic growth through private sector-led investment, noting that the transformative potential of such initiative in developing markets. China appears to have quietly rolled back retaliatory tariff of 125% on some semiconductors made in the U.S. According to details provided by 3 import agencies in the Southern Technology Hub of Shenzhen, as Beijing tries to soften the blow of an ongoing trade war in its important tech industry. The exemption applied to integrated circuit, also known as microchips or semiconductors, according to the agency. They found out about exemptions which have not been officially announced. On April 12, China raised its reciprocal tariff to 125% for all goods originating from the United States in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's move to hike levies on Chinese goods to a sky-high 145%. Now, from the foreign scene, the Trump administration is reinstating visas for hundreds of foreign students whose legal status was abruptly terminated, prompting widespread fear of immediate deportation, government officials confirm. The move follows more than 100 lawsuits filed by students who lost their legal right to study at the United States universities. Many of those impacted students have participated in political protests or face prior criminal charges, such as driving infractions. Secretary of State Marco Rubio previously stated that the administration would revoke the status of individuals whose actions it deems contrary to U.S. interests. Canada will hold an election on Monday following a campaign electrified by U.S. President Donald Trump's threat, with Prime Minister Mark Carney favored to win after promising voters he has the experience to stand up to the United States. A victory for Carney's Liberal Party would mark one of the most dramatic turnaround in Canadian political history. On January 6, the day for former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his plans to resign, his Liberal trailed the Conservative by more than 20 points in most polls, and Tory leader Pierre Poilievre looked certain to be Canada's next premier. Officials say troops from Pakistan and India exchanged fire overnight across the line of control in dispute Kashmir, after the United Nations urged the nuclear-armed rivals to show maximum restraint following a deadly shooting in the region. Relations have plunged to their lowest level in years, with India accusing Pakistan of supporting what it calls a cross-border terrorism after gunmen carried out the worst attack on civilians in contested Muslim-majority Kashmir for a quarter of a century. U.S. President Donald Trump says he is applying pressure on Russia to end the war in Ukraine, insisting that Moscow agreeing not to take over the entire country is a huge concession. Uyi Agbomofuegbe has the rest of the story.
The U.S. president confirmed that the partnership between the United States and Norway remains strong, expressing admiration for the Prime Minister, Jonas Gahr Støre, and the country's king.
And we understand each other very well. I think we'll have no problem, because I like them. And I like your Prime Minister, and I like the way your government runs, and I respect the king. He's highly respected in Norway. It's a great thing, not an easy thing to do.
Trump also issued a rare rebuke of Russian leader Vladimir Putin, stating that he is not happy after Moscow fired a barrage of missiles and drones at Kyiv.
I didn't like last night. I wasn't happy with it. And we're in the midst of talking peace, and missiles were fired. And I was not happy with it. That's what I meant, and that's, you know.
President Trump also said he was applying pressure on Russia to end the Ukraine war, insisting that Moscow agreeing not to take over the whole of Ukraine is a generous concession. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
Port Nigeria's table tennis prospect Taiwo Marti has cited financial constraint as the main barrier to reaching the next level in his international career, following a tough stretch of results at recent WTT events, including the 2025 contender Tunis. In an interview, the 20-year-old remained unbeat despite an extended run of losses in men's singles stretching back to January's WTT contender Muscat. Marti is ranked 10th in Nigeria and 562 globally by the ITTF, and he recently bowed out of the singles competition in Tunis after losing both group matches, 3-1 to Malta's Kin Tayun and 3-0 to India's Sanhit Sovejula. World record holder in the women's 110-meter hurdles Toby Amosan will compete in the season's opener of this year's Diamond League in Xiamen, China on Saturday today. Making her first race in the hurdle since crashing out of the Paris Olympic in August 2024. Amusan was confirmed as one of the entrants for the Xiamen Diamond League last week. The three-time Diamond League winner has led a low life of the track and returned for her first race of the season in the 100-meter last month, running a season's best of 11.28 seconds to win the Velocity Fest 16 in Kingston, Jamaica. And that's it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.